Welcome to a less janky and yet still somehow janky recording of the Emo Social Club podcast. I am Brian.
I'm Lizzie, and I'm really frustrated.
We had to do like computer repair slash network. I don't know
Patching.
what you had to do. You had to do a bunch.
I had to go in and like repatch my computer because Discord fucked it up, and I'm never using Discord again except on my phone. In my life. This is what I get for not upgrading to Linux at this point, though.
I mean, kind of.
I know.
Or a Mac, because my computer works just fine.
Listen.
Everything's working just fine is all I'm saying.
Listen, but I was explaining how I went in and go and fix it, and you were like, what?
Yeah, because I don't know your computer. I'm like, I know here's how to fix some shit that I can fix.
All I know is with the Mac, if something really goes wrong, my main reaction to do to it is yell at it and throw something at it, which is not the best reaction. But I also have anger management issues, so that's my main reaction.
Every time something goes wrong with my Mac, I go, this is probably my fault. I did something. And every time something goes wrong on a Windows computer, I'm like, why would you do this to me? This is clearly your fault. I've done nothing here.
That's literally... That's us, swapped around.
Exactly.
Except I've been done too dirty by Mac products.
And you didn't go to the store enough.
No.
It's a cult, remember?
I mean, I had one of the very first Macs when I was a kid, because my dad got them. Mm-hmm. And then I would play, backyard baseball on it. And I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we upgraded, and I got my first, PC when I was, 7, 8. So.
Well, they got better since then.
Yeah. I guess.
They got better. So we originally had planned to do an interview for tonight, but unfortunately the weather in Chicago was the coldest in the world, and that kind of fucked our plans up a bit. And also Lizzie is currently dying of a sickness that has nothing to do with her computer.
Yeah, ended up really sick, literal sick, upper respiratory infection earlier this week that the ER doctors misdiagnosed as the flu, and then it's been a really great 5 days.
So we're kind of doing this real quick, but at least we had something we could talk about and put out an episode and not leave everybody hanging just because of the fucking weather. I was gonna be like, freeze is what I'm going to say that our podcast did, because we're frozen right now.
Oh, my God.
So, what we wanted to talk about what I want to talk about is how good Bring Me the Horizon's new album is.
Okay, well, I've never been a Bring Me the Horizon fan. I did not jump on that train at all in high school.
That's fine. You don't strike me as a huge metal fan.
No, I'm more like symphonic metal, like Within Temptation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So not even US metal,
yeah, fair.
So
fair.
that's where I'm there. And Nightwish. I completely missed the normal metal train. I just fucking jumped literal ship and went abroad. So
you're fine. I only mention how much I like the album because it is so different from their older albums, and I've seen a lot of people complaining specifically about this record, but also complaining about a lot of other bands and the change in their sound, and mostly complaints, mostly people saying, oh, I can't believe that this band changed their sound so much and they sold out and all this shit. And my initial response to all of that is, shut up. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You moron. Shut up.
I mean, you're not wrong. What are bands supposed to do? Just stay stagnant in their entire careers playing the same shit?
Yeah.
over and over again, then you're going to complain about it being the same. Like, there's nothing to make any of you happy.
There's literally nothing that will make anyone happy. So stop being so unhappy, you moron.
I mean,
Emo
that's
Social Club, stop being unhappy.
just stop being fucking annoying. Thanks.
It's
Bye.
just, like,
But it's like the same thing though with, like, Weezer dropped.
yeah.
It was on that Thursday. Everyone pretty much came out with an album
So
or a
much
single,
new
literally
music.
out of nowhere.
So much music.
And every single thing I saw, no matter who the artist was they sold out. They could have done better. They could have done this. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you have, like, literally 5 to 10, depending on what genres you listen to, different albums or songs you can listen to, and you are shitting on every single fucking one of them.
Yeah.
Like, how much of a sad and angry, miserable person do you have to be? There's one thing about being critical about music. There's another to be pretentious, and another to be just a straight-up asswipe about it. I'm just saying, there's a very thin line between the three, but everyone just crossed all over them, and I just couldn't deal with it.
People shitting on Weezer basically saying, we had so much fun recording a cover of Africa that we wanted to do a bunch of other cover songs and just
literally a bunch of 80s and 90s covers.
And saying, this is for fun. We are going to have fun. And people like, I don't fucking like it when you have fun. Get the fuck out of here with your fucking Teal cover album. I hate your bullshit. I'm having a good time and you hate me for it. It's so fucking stupid. like, oh man, I can't believe this. Like, put out new music. Like, what?
They have a new album coming out in the summer. They just said, like, here's an album we did for shits and giggles, basically. Here you go, have fun. And then they walked away.
Yeah.
That's literally what they said.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is that you had, like, Pitchfork shitting on them. Like, Pitchfork shits on everyone who isn't, like, the same 3 psych rock bands playing over and over again.
Yeah.
And then you also have a bunch, like, Vice shits on them, too. I think the only positive review that I saw come out of it was from, like, Consequence of Sounds, and it said Weezer is being true to their actual selves, and, like, went into, like, their whole, reasoning as a band, as Weezer. And everyone else outside of reading that article, or, like, people who have, like, listened to Weezer for a while, have said, like, oh no, this is just them being shitty, they're sellouts, like, they've never been a good band, like, they suck after Pinkerton sucks, which is offensive.
Yeah, that's dumb as fuck.
It's so offensive. It's so fucking offensive. If you have that opinion, you're dumb. I will personally come and fight you.
I'll make you listen to it, and I will educate you song by song
while
how
I
wrong
fight
you fucking are. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but, like, that's the thing. It's like people are being so overly critical about it. And I think it's so funny, too, at the same time, and ironic, because we're in an age now where music criticism, actual, like, legitimate music criticism that we saw, like, anywhere from 5 to 10 years ago, where it was actually going in and dissecting and giving realistic reviews, like, hey, like, this new album, honestly, it doesn't slap as hard as this band's other, like, 2 albums prior. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Whereas now, if we were to actually do that, like, Pitchfork does do that. And I think they're the only website, another ironic twist, that does do that, even though they're really heavily biased, honestly, I feel, in my opinion, on it, how they rate and rank things, because they're known for the indie rock, indie pop, indie rap, really indie. Underground music. So, like, they gave Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World, like, what, a 3.5 stars. So anything that's in the actual rock category, they're going to downgrade because they don't naturally listen to it or are open to it. But Pitchfork is arguably one of the only mags that I have seen give actual honest reviews and give anything, like, it'd be like, this doesn't sound really good, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Where you see, like, All Press, you see even Rolling Stones and Kerrang and all these other magazines being like, oh my god, every single album that's out, it's just so good. It's just so good. And, that can obviously be from one, they have, a sponsor marketing deal with, the record label or that band specifically, or it's just because there are so many people who are like, how dare you disrespect my band, and this album is so good.
Yeah.
And it's really hurting the way that we see music and the way that I think that we actually hold criticisms and music journalism to a really low standard, I feel now, because anyone could do it, and it's great that there's that accessibility, but at the same time, that means anyone can sign up, be like, I'm on this band's PR list, I'm on this, indie label's PR list, and they're going to send it to you, and you're going to be like, oh my god, I'm obligated to say that this album slaps, even if I really don't personally think it does. And is there really criteria that you're going off of? Are you looking for sound? Are you comparing it to their older stuff? Have you done research? Like, do you understand the context? Are you listening for instrumentals? Do you know who they're producing with? Or are you just going off of really just a surface level of it? And I've seen people, I actually saw someone tweet today that music journalism is really compromised, and that this person wanted to start their own like music blog or music website. And again, we also have to realize that journalists and writers are two separate things. With journalists primarily writing in AP style and usually being hopefully unbiased and objective, where writers may not have that AP style classical training and usually write because they want to write it, and it's going to be a little bit more personal. And I think that's where people are also getting confused in the mix, that music journalists aren't necessarily music writers, and music writers aren't music journalists, but they can be both if you are that journalist first. If you're somebody who's like, guess what, I'm going to start a blog and have my own personal writings, that's awesome. That's great training. But you need to go and learn the objectives of how to be a professional writer then, and a professional reporter in a sense, because you can't walk in and say, I'm going to interview my favorite band who are also some of my really good friends. Well, then you'd already know how everything's going to come up and be like, oh my god, these guys are so good, and it's not going to be objective. Like, I just had to interview a band that I'd only heard in passing in like the pop punk scene, so I was like, oh, must be pop punk. So I listened to it, and I was like, this is not pop punk. What the fuck is this? It's like R&B, indie, hip hop, pop punk. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't like any of this, but I'm like, I have to be objective, because I also listen to some songs. I'm like, okay, there's a good mix of things in here. It's just not my personal taste. But I mean, I'm typing up an article and I'm going to be like, okay, so this is just it, fact-based. And again, it's just, that's where, where there's a really huge issue, I feel, when it comes to criticizing music now, is that people are going to be too connected to whatever they're listening to give a proper, thorough review. Yeah. And then when people do that, people are going to get offended and be like, why are you doing that? Because not a lot of people sit down and say, all right, I'm going to have my whole research written down. I'm going to have my interviews in place. I'm going to have, recordings written down. I'm going to have all this backstory. So, and I just think that that's just like the biggest issue. And it's so ironic that it's just like a whole circle jerk that you can't fucking end it. Because if you do, then you're going to have a bunch of pissed off readers and listeners. And then they're going to be like, oh my god, I just don't want to do it though, because it's so negative. I want to be positive. Cool, you can be positive, but you have to be fucking realistic at the same time. If this band's new album fucking sucks, it sucks. Like, listen, I love Fall Out Boy, but let's be honest, Mania was not their best thing. There's like maybe 5 good songs. That's being nice.
Yeah.
That's being nice.
I'll try looking for them next time I listen to it.
Wow. What the fuck?
I honestly, like, in listening to the new Bring Me the Horizon, I actually was like, this is what Fall Out Boy tried to do on Mania and couldn't figure it out. And Bring Me the Horizon actually figured it out.
I'm so proud of them.
So, I mean, obviously Bring Me the Horizon, and Fall Out Boy have both almost completely changed their genre since when they started, where Bring Me the Horizon started as a almost deathcore band, and Fall Out Boy started as super pop punk, and then over time developed their sound. And, I mean, as an artist, you have more access. The bigger you get, you can work with different producers. You can work in different places. You can spend more time making a record as opposed to having to put out a record every couple years or so. You can take breaks and you can work on music for a lot longer, which develops a lot of different sound to it. And I think that both of the bands have decided like we want to go in this direction. We don't want to make the music that we made before, and people are just so fucking pissed about it. And I'm like, I can get it. Like, okay, I don't like Fall Out Boy's new record. I really like Bring Me the Horizon's new record. I still listen to old Fall Out Boy and really enjoy it, and I listen to newer Bring Me the Horizon because I don't really listen to like deathcore shit, but their first album shit I don't really listen to, but everything from Suicide Season on I listen to. And I'm like, yeah, but the newer shit is better for Bring Me the Horizon, and the older shit is more my style for Fall Out Boy. Like, if you're into Mania, be into Mania. If I read an article that was like, hey, I really like the new Fall Out Boy album, here's why, here's all these reasons, and here's the approach to why I really like it, and I would read that and I would go, sure, okay, let me listen to it now with these new thoughts in my head. And I'd probably still go, no. But if somebody's like bitching and moaning about Bring Me the Horizon on Twitter, and they're just like, man, I can't believe this shit. They went from being like all heavy and they sold out, and now they're EDM and they fucking suck. I listen to it and I go, nah, I fucking like it. Like, it in a way, like, and I get where you're coming from about like people putting their like music journalists writing about music and having their opinion on the record, and then people who just want to write their opinion on the internet and give it out. And it's like, yeah, sure, but is it really going to change how I feel about it? What actually changes more of how I feel about it is reading what the artist wanted to convey with it. And if the artist has like a really good sort of sense behind it, of what they were trying to do, of why they created it, why they did the way they did it, then I'm like, yeah, that's actually really cool, and I dig that. Bring Me the Horizon and Weezer both had really good sort of backgrounds to why they did things. They both wrote like a sort of track by track for Apple Music of what the songs were, like how Weezer like decided on the covers that they were playing, what they wanted to do. There's a really good line where Rivers is like, we were doing No Scrubs, and obviously it's a song sung by a woman about a man, and I was like, well, do I change it? And he's like, no, I have a friend that's just like, listen, you're just gay for that 3.5 minutes, and that's just what it is. He's like, all right, let's do it. And he's like, I don't, like, that's what it is.
He doesn't care. I mean,
Yeah.
if anyone has seen Rivers Cuomo's Twitter, like, someone needs to take it away from him. That's pretty much like the whole condensed story of his Twitter is please help this man.
If you have a relationship with that person, though, in whatever capacity, whether it's you read what he writes on Twitter and you kind of get a sense for like what they're doing, or the fact that like the Africa cover was kind of like this long standing joke, and so then everything that they cover is kind of a joke and there's a joke behind it. Like, that's fun to then listen to and be like, dude, these guys are just like joking around, they're goofing around, and here's just a fun, like, cool record. You can put it on, you can enjoy it, and you don't have to like put a lot of thought behind it. Bring Me the Horizon was like, yeah, we wrote a song called Heavy Metal because we don't play heavy metal music anymore, and we wrote like a huge breakdown in it, but it's also all the lyrics are like, oh man, some kid on the internet talks shit. Okay. And now they're having a bunch of interviews where they're like, yeah, people are like really upset about the sound. Good. And like they don't give a shit. It's like that makes me like the new sound even a bit more. It's just like, yeah, fuck them. Like, you don't like it, don't listen to it. They got their old shit still out there. You want to go see somebody play it? Good luck.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. It's these bands are going to get older and develop, and especially if you're a younger fan coming in and you're not somebody in like, your early 20s or old like you. If you're like, if it's a younger fan who's like maybe 15 to like 18, 19 even, they're going to be like, I want to listen to the old stuff. There's a bunch of really good like underground like rock and metal bands in your area or just in general that you can listen to who may even sound better arguably than any of these bands that are legendary, go look for them, because these might be the bands that are going to be legendary for you and, the next generation or two on.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be limiting yourself just by whomever's been established. Like, that's just a small mindset. If we had that mindset, we wouldn't have gotten this far with even newer bands that we have now, like Pup and like Front Bottoms even, and Fiddler. Like, there's just so many. I just think it's ridiculous that people keep, holding on to it. It's such a high school mentality.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm transported back. All of us were those emo kids or metalheads were like, oh no, I don't like popular music because that's like not with my style. People would make fun of me. Secretly, I'm a fucking 15 years old. Like, I love Jonas Brothers, seen them 7 times and met them, freaking out all the time, and no one knew. Okay, like,
all
now
right.
I don't care.
Live your life.
Like, listen, it'd be like that, okay? But I feel like we're back then in high school. Like, it's this hush-hush secret type of thing where we've digressed back from being really accepting and open to all this different music. And now it's just, okay, we have to go back to the Puritan old style. And as we've seen historically, in literally every single fucking sense of the term you would like to reference to Puritan old style, nothing has ever come out to be good at all if you keep with that trend. Music or historically, I'm just saying.
I think it's like, and I think I felt this when I was a kid too, where when you find a band that really speaks to you, or the music that really speaks to you, you want to own that in some way. Like, it becomes yours as a listener, as a fan, like, it defines you in such a way that, like, for it to change or for it to grow and evolve, it's almost like you're losing it. But eventually you grow up and you go, oh, that's not true, and I don't need to think that anymore. But some people clearly don't because they're bitching about shit on Twitter, just saying. But it's like, I don't know, that you're right. It is a very high school mentality. Like, I think that for all of the, like, rock music and the pop punk and the metal shit that I used to listen to, like, I listened to the stuff that I listened to in high school, and all of those bands got huge and they made new shit and they, like, grew from there. So it's like, I either like the newer stuff or I don't, because I always have what I listened to in high school as, like, that time capsule of what I enjoyed. So I'm like, I can either go back and listen to that and not complain about anything. I can listen to old Fall Out Boy and feel good, whatever. Or I can listen to new Fall Out Boy and then stop listening to new Fall Out Boy and listen to old Fall Out Boy again. So I don't know. I just see it as, like, the music doesn't not exist. Like, the records still exist as they were. I think some people maybe get upset when they're like, oh, well, if I go to a show, then I can't see them play some of these old songs. Like, they don't play they don't really play anything off the first record, or they don't play anything off of, like, these records where they were more heavy or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but also, like, that's just been kind of bands forever. Like, you play stuff off the new record because you have a new record. Or you're a band like Foo Fighters, or not even Foo Fighters. Let's go, like, Guns N' Roses, where, like, you're going out with, like, fucking, like, 4 or 5 records in the can, and, like, that's all you have.
And you're also, like, a legendary rock band where you're gonna have to play only, like, the bangers too. Exactly. So people who go there, they're gonna be like, well, I can't hear any of the deep cuts anymore, because if they don't play their top hits, people are gonna be pissed.
It's just Welcome to the Jungle on repeat for an
probably.
Hour and a half
That's probably how it goes. Tragic.
I mean, I didn't go. I probably should have, like, just realistically. But I also just feel like, I don't really like these bigger bands that just live off their old shit in that way. Like, Fall Out Boy 100% could go out on a tour and play nothing but the first 3 records, like Taking Back Sunday's doing.
Wow, if they did, I'll be there every single fucking night.
But they won't do it because that's not what they want to do.
That's not their style at all.
Yeah. And I think that people get pissed about that. Like, Taking Back Sunday is a good example of just a band that's just like, we are going to live off of our old shit because nobody cares about our new shit. And it's not that their new music is bad per se. It doesn't grab me in the same way that, like, the older stuff did. But I wouldn't say it's bad. I think Fall Out Boy's new music is bad, objectively not good. But they decided still to go out and do a 20 year anniversary tour of Taking Back Sunday, and they're doing that by playing their first 3 records. Like, is that saying, like, catering to the fans that are just like, we don't want you to change, we want you to always be like you always were and play the old shit? Or is it like a better move like what Fall Out Boy is doing, where they're like, we don't care if you like the new shit, we're still going out on a tour to promote the new record, to promote the new music, and to enjoy this new stuff that we're into now?
I feel like with Taking Back Sunday, because I've seen people on Twitter and Facebook comment on a lot of their different tours. And I remember it was sometime right before the new year, and there was this chick who had commented and was like, "Wow, I was really so excited to see you guys because I listened to you in high school, but you didn't play anything off of like your first 2 albums, and you played a bunch of newer stuff that I didn't know, and it was cool, but I didn't know, and I wasn't as amped for it." And people were like, "Where you missed the anniversary tours, basically. Like, what else did you expect?" And
Yeah.
this girl legitimately was like, "No, like Taking Back Sunday should only be doing their first 2 albums because that's all that matters to me." And I'm like,
Yep.
all right, first of all, Miss White Privilege over here. I'm gonna need you to sit the fuck down.
Wow.
But yeah, literally, I was reading it and I'm like, is she like for real? And it took me a couple of minutes. I'm like, oh my god, she's 100% serious that in that meaning, because she personally believes that those are the 2 best albums, that's all they should play. And I'm like, listen, I think All Time Low's first 2 albums are probably the only ones that they should really play. No, first 3 albums
their new stuff
are
either.
really the ones. I only like their first 3 albums, and that's it. And I'm personally going to sue if they don't play Nothing Personal and full on an anniversary tour. I will lose.
Suing.
I will personally sue. Me and all my friends and all the other old school, old time low fans will personally sue. And I swear to God, if I never hear Coffee Shop Soundtrack live once, I will lose my mind.
Wow. So you're that girl about All Time Low, apparently.
Well, when I was at the Haunted Holiday show, my 2 friends I went with, Kat and Chrissy, they were like, "We need to sit down. We overheated." I was like, "Okay, bye." So I was like left alone. I was like, "Okay," and then they were coming up near the end where like they had the last few songs, and I was in the pit and I ran into these 2 people. They were like, "Play Coffee Shop Soundtrack," and I was like, oh, "I found my people." I was like, "Bitch, me too." And they were like, "This is my favorite song." I'm like, but they play Jay-Z Ray and huh?
I don't think you're out of the norm for wanting to hear Coffee Shop Soundtrack.
I don't know, but I'll yell at them and be like, "Play Coffee Soundtrack, you cowards!" And they would start doing it with me, and then they played Jay-Z Ray, which was okay, but I wanted Coffee Shop Soundtrack.
Also, remember that every band, pretty much, I mean, some bands change it up a little bit, but pretty much every band shows up knowing what they're gonna play.
Oh yeah,
from
no,
beginning
I know.
to end. Like, this is something I think that a lot of people don't know, is like the band is gonna play their set list that they've
especially when it's a bigger band on like a bigger tour, like they're gonna play the same set, unless usually maybe if it's like a hometown show. Like Fall Out Boy always does, Chicago, so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In Chicago only. We know that. That's really the only set, divergence.
Yeah. Remember too, like, and this is not for you to remember, this is for our audience to remember, and hopefully no one in our audience is a dumb Twitter user who complains about bands. But
it's gonna be real awkward if you are.
Ooh, unsubscribe immediately.
Unfollow. Is this how we get Twitter hate? Is that how we know we're Twitter verified?
I think it's the only way to get more popular is to incite hate over you and then just like fucking talk shit.
Love
to
that.
Haters. I mean, listen, I've been kind of researching, like not researching, but I've been kind of listening to some stuff.
Are you trying to start Twitter wars?
No, I'm not trying to start Twitter wars because I don't feel that's. It's not something I want to do. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, and you don't use the Twitter, so I'd be like, "Ooh, what did Brian do?"
Yeah, if I'm gonna post anything offensive, it's gonna be on my personal Twitter, and people are gonna be like, "I'm gonna listen to this idiot's podcast." No, it's more like that. Just by posting like more, like, it's very easy to get somebody to interact with you for a negative reason than it is to get somebody to interact with you for a positive reason. So if you say something super spicy and negative, then people are probably going to want to argue with you, so they'll jump into your whatever it is that you're doing and start arguing with you. So in my mind, that's probably why a lot of people like would post like a shitty review of a band or a shitty like oh, this thing sucks. This thing sucks. It's because they want to like invite that hate back to themselves, so that it gives them more clicks, it gives them more interactions, and
Yeah, it
kind
gives
of
them
boosts their
more like
profile.
attention.
I think,
Basically, is what it
yeah,
is.
and I think that a lot of people can monetize that attention, even if it's negative. Like, it's not. I don't think it's the attention that I would want, but I get why people do it. I also would say that this is like a really like off-topic thing in here, but it's like I think this is why like right-wing politics has so many pundits for it. Like just people that are like very right-wing. It's like because they know that people are like they know that they're taking the wrong moral stance, and they know that like what they're saying is not proven correct by any
Yeah.
facts or research or anything, but they're like, yeah, so therefore I'm going to argue it, like all of it, and just like get all of these
It's
like
just literal, yeah, it's just a bunch of trolls who want to be,
exactly.
just make people who are opposing them, like, get pissed off and riled up.
Exactly. And I think that's I think that it's in every situation. So people that are complaining about music are just trying to get attention for complaining about music. Especially like imagine if you tweeted a band and like say, "Yo, your shit sucks," and they're like, "LOL, fuck you." Like who's going to go on like Panic at the Disco's Twitter and just be like, "Yo, I like you better with Ryan Ross," and he's just like, "LOL, okay."
Like,
like
cool, like, go
like
listen to
it,
I Don't Know How then,
yeah,
peace.
but he's like, I'll keep trying, I'll keep trying to get that Brendan Urie like quote tweet or
Just
whatever,
back, yeah.
Yeah, like it's I think that most people complain or are negative because they want to get the attention from complaining or being negative. Whereas I think I mean I personally I think that most people with sort of like a moral ethical compass like understand that there is a right and wrong kind of attention, and I'd rather have attention for uh, I don't know, either complaining about the right things or not complaining but educating and being sort of a compass, I guess. I don't know,
I like how you were like,
which is why I'm like, yo, this podcast, which points due north, says don't be a fuck on Twitter complaining about bands wanting to evolve their musical sound. That's my compass. It points
basically,
due north to enjoy. It's like that. It's actually that meme that's just like let people enjoy things.
please, just,
Like shut up. Just let people enjoy things. No one cares. Lizzie, do you have any plugs?
working some articles up on this WordPress site in the next week or so. It's going to look ugly, but if you want to start looking at it and following it, that'd be really cool. It's called the Lizard Zine with two Z's in the lizard. I was at work trying to come up with it, and I asked my coworker, I was like, what should I name this that's somewhat professional and that my professors are going to look at it and be like, are you fucking kidding me? And they were like, oh, maybe you should do something like Lizard's Lounge. And they Googled it. They're like, fuck, it's already a venue, never mind. And then I like thought about it. I was like, oh my god. And I started typing, and then my computer died on me. But if you go to just Lizard, Lizzard, zine, zine.home.blog. It's a WordPress, and it'll have all of my different articles, and I will be posting a few of them that I have already completed, and then I'll be posting a photojournalism one about Sip of Hope coffee and the community brings. And I think I'm going to turn it into a series where I go out and I harass poor people at different coffee shops and ask them about how it's meaningful while taking pictures of them.
Nice.
So follow that. That's going to be all coming up.
Yeah.
And everything. Otherwise, I started internship with Hope for the Day.
Nice. I saw that. And that's awesome.
In the next coming week. So we'll see whatever happens with that. I'm still doing this, still in school. That's why I'm a little bit MIA with some things. Because I'm slowly dying. And then just look out for some more writings. I will be pitching my writings, hopefully, to some actual publications, like hard copy publications. So
nice.
Maybe in the next few months you'll see my name and I'll cry. That means I'm
awesome,
getting
though.
paid for something.
Hell yeah. maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I moved our Twitch streams. You're welcome to come on and hang out on Twitch with me if you ever want to.
In the middle of class.
I mean, yeah, basically.
I'll just pop it on. Be like, what's up, guys?
I moved them to Monday, Wednesday to fit better with Lizzie's class schedule. So now the streams are 6 to 8 p.m. Monday and Wednesday, local Chicago time. We finished Metal Gear Solid, which took me for fucking ever because it's a long-ass game. We'll be on the last episode of Life is Strange, which, by the way, got fucked. Like,
well, it's called Life is Strange for a fucking reason.
yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, my mouth was agape on stream, just like, what? Upset. So we'll have the 5th episode of that. I would normally do it on this coming Monday, but this coming Monday is Panic at the fucking Disco. So I will not be doing it this Monday. I'll be doing that on Wednesday because I'll be at Panic at the Disco on Monday.
I'll be in class.
Yeah, and Bring Me the Horizon on Tuesday. So hell yeah. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Twitch streams, randomly playing Smash Brothers probably too if I'm fucking bored. I don't have anything else that I'm doing, I don't think, right now. I want to make more videos. I'm thinking of like cool video ideas. I might do a vlog on my channel.
Yeah, do another thing.
I mean, it's just like, what am I gonna do? Post like my fucking life on Emo Social Club when it's not about like
relevant to it.
It's not relevant to this. Like, here's a music discussion. Hey guys, fucking traveling right now. I might be going to New York in March.
Ooh, for work?
Yeah, for work.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh, I could like film that and like do like I want to practice like doing a travel vlog and just see like.
That'd be cool. I was thinking of possibly trying to do one when I go down to Shaky Knees in May, but I'm also scared that I might break something.
You should just try it. Just give it a shot.
You think if you throw it in the pit, yeet.
Yeet.
POV shots.
This is what a pit looks like, motherfucker. Yeet. So yeah, I don't know. There'll probably be some stuff I'll do in the future, and I'll plug that. But for right now, it's just the Twitch streams. Please follow me. Please follow us. Emo Social Club. Twitch.tv/Emo Social Club. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. It is honestly fun. Like, my girlfriend's been watching me play Life is Strange and was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm getting invested in this. There's a lot of storylines. I'm really bad at Super Smash Brothers, so you can make fun of me on there. I'm not really bad. I'm just really bad when I go up against, like, experienced players online. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm terrible. I got my ass handed to me a lot yesterday when I was just, like, fucking around on there. Anyway, that's all we have for now. We will see you, hopefully, with the right technology needs next Friday. And from all of us here at the Emo Social Club Baruni, yeet!
Yeet!
Goodbye, yeet!